Welcome to This is Fitness, the podcast for the bodybuilding and all things fitness, bringing you real life version of the fitness industry from people who've lived and breathed it. We explore new trends and serious topics while dispelling myths and calling out stupidity within the fitness industry. Jimmy and Chris offer their unique insight, delivered with healthy sarcasm. Let's crush those fitness goals together. This is Fitness. And now your hosts, Jimmy Sadek and Chris Thomas.
Welcome to episode 9 of This is Fitness, another 1 week hiatus from last week. And we've got Jimmy, my boy Sadek again, and one of our good friends, Mr. Stan Turek. How are you, boys?
What's happening, Chris?
Good, mate.
Let Stan introduce himself first. Stan popped in today trying to make money off me, trying to wholesale some supplements. That's it. He popped in the other week too to have a look and have a go at the red light therapy bed, the cryo. So we were going to train today, but I trained this morning. I apologize.
You slammed my back last week. That was a great workout.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
We went.
We almost pinned Stan down spontaneously for a podcast the other week. So this one was a bit more planned.
A little bit, yeah. So we brought him back. We'll have a proper podcast. We're going to tag him onto the back end of the last week one, but I thought, no, let's do a proper one. The New South Wales show is this weekend coming. The Adelaide show and the Perth show was last weekend. So Stan's won a couple. How many Australian titles you won?
Only one.
Only one.
Yeah.
That's one more than me. That's all right. I won a junior one. That doesn't count, but that's like back in 2000. Back in 2005. No one even
that counts.
No one even back in 2005. I won by default.
Can you please bring up a photo of you in your junior one?
Oh yeah.
Would you have eaten them alive? Surely.
No. Back then, if I looked like I did back then, now I'd look like I didn't even train.
It was a lot softer. The
evolution, baby. But I didn't start taking gear till after I finished competing as a junior.
Wow. So you're natural at the IFBB.
Yes. I look natural too.
That's unreal.
I look natural too. But that's when I stopped. And I actually stopped competing was for 6 years because I was like, man, this is heaps of hard work. If I take gear, I'll probably have to train like half as much and look just as good. So I'm like, I'll just stop competing and take gear. Look, I know. But that was my thought process to stop competing at the time.
That's some a bit of good advice for the young guys out there.
If
you don't need to.
If you Google now, just go to Google and type in because I used to have an article for bodybuilding.com.
Right.
Just type in big time Jimmy Sadek. My junior photo should pop up.
Big time Jimmy Sadek. I didn't know this about you. I didn't know you did the Pro League Natural. I'm getting like Ronnie Coleman vibes.
No. Maybe you're Down syndrome, Ronnie Coleman.
Oh, this is you, young fella.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the first two. If you Google my name, that's then the first two.
Big time.
The front relaxed.
Yeah.
That was 22 years old natural.
Brilliant. Lats, abs, sweeps, vastus lateralis.
So before I started taking GH, I had a flat gut. See.
Yeah. Well, it's ridiculously in, isn't it?
And okay, so if you look at the fourth photo from the left.
Okay. Oh yeah, with your abs and thigh.
That was teenage. That's when I won the teenage Mr. Australia.
That's ridiculous. Look at your sweeps.
So I was all right. Not too bad.
Pretty bloody good.
And then the ones further down are just Can
I just say this too, Jimmy? Can I just say this? I always thought, and no bullshit, that your cars were more genetic.
No.
And you were, kind of like, you get big cars, you don't have to train that much.
No.
And these cars are ridiculous, but in the photos, they're not that big.
Okay, do you know what happened with my cars?
You built the shit out of them.
So I went to college for teaching. I went to ACPE.
Right.
So not uni, it was a sport college, right? First year, first semester, and I got through because you had to represent Australia in New South Wales. So that was after I won the Natural Australia.
Yep.
Went on a scholarship. First year was mad. It's just like a normal uni, whatever. Second year, this big motherfucker comes, an Australian sprinter.
Wow.
This calves the size of our head, right? I'm like, this motherfucker's got bigger legs than me. I'm supposed to be the bodybuilder. So from that day, every single day I train calves without fail. Proper calf workout, not like just a bit of pump here and there, whatever. I train them like 3-4 exercises, 3-4 sets, rep range varied every day for a year. That's how they grew.
Wow. I know I went to Tony Batagi's power training seminar years ago, and he said the calves, abs, and traps are all slow twitch fibers that you need to pound the crap out of.
Right.
You just prove that with that
Well, it
volume.
makes sense. You walk on them every day.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Can I just say, bud, seriously, they're not genetic. You worked your ass off, man. I actually want to apologize. I thought the whole time I was like, Jimmy's just got massive calves. I'm not going to buy that. I'm not going to buy the calf booklet.
That was.
But you got
Hey, fuck him.
Yeah. This is bullshit. I got genetic calves. He's just got. But he didn't have them. Like, you look at these. Go look up this junior photo of Jimmy. He doesn't have calves.
Hey, can you see the photo? Can you see the most muscular there with the sunglasses?
I'm looking at the enhanced one further down. Someone blew your arms up and you look fucking crazy.
Yeah, that photo shot. There's two left of that. Can you see the one there?
Two left of it. Yeah, with the sunnies.
Yeah, so that was 8 weeks into my first cycle.
That's way bigger.
8 weeks into my first cycle, I was 24. 2 mil of sus, 2 mil of deca.
No, already a lot.
Hey, I'll tell you something funny too, Chris.
What's that?
Then you know the snap off sus?
Yeah.
They used to the base used to be peanut oil.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, guess what I was still allergic to then?
Peanut butter.
Peanuts.
Were you already allergic then to it?
Yes. So
that could kill you.
So after I won the Junior Australia, is when I started taking gear. After the Junior Australia is when I had my nut reaction.
Right.
Within a week after that show.
You need to add on to what the nut reaction was. People might take that the wrong way.
Oh, no,
Did your balls get huge?
I had to stop sucking dick for a living. My pay for pancreas.
Oh, that's good.
You can't take the piss out of someone who takes the piss out of themselves.
You can say whatever you want to me. Good on you.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying we're going to clear up the nut reaction.
No, so I had an anaphylaxis 2 nuts where like everyone who knows me knows this. I literally tripled in size.
Wow.
So I literally tripled in, I was swelling. So I was rushed to the hospital, I had adrenaline shots, whatever. They had to cut my clothes off, pull my chain off, just until the swelling went down after they gave me all the adrenaline, whatever. But fast forward 6 months to my first cycle of sus and the deca, cooked in because the sus, the 1 amps were based in peanut oil. I was itchy for 12 fucking weeks. I didn't know until week 12. I didn't know, and I was like, this fucking makes a whole heap of sense.
Do you remember back then we used to get those ampules for like $2 an amp?
Yeah, bro. Fucking, you remember the bladders?
Yeah.
The sheep probe?
Yeah, which one? Hang on, there was a couple. You had the Repel, which was the enanthe. You had the white one, which was Banrot, which is excipionate.
No,
and then you had the Verbac, which is the prop, which was a half a liter.
Yeah, the prop. I went the half
a liter, man.
I've got planks in my fucking quads because I've got the scar tissue.
But the thing is, it's like that one there, that prop was like 5% benzyl alcohol. So you put it in, it felt like a mule kicked you. It was ridiculous.
Yes. Yeah. It blew up from a butt. You felt like it.
Do you reckon some people would have passed away with the peanut butter?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because some people did die from it.
Yeah, but look, I don't think
that's dangerous.
If Verity has peanut butter or has some sort of nut and then kisses me, my lips will blow up. So I don't know why. Look,
aflatoxin. It's growing in mold.
I don't know why the sus didn't affect me more than just make me itch. But I remember being itchy.
Yeah, you were enjoying the gains and thought, "Fuck the inflammation. This is awesome."
Dude, like see that most muscular. I told you I've only ever had one shot.
Well, see, I don't know what the process is with that, but like you're getting the reaction still. But the thing is, you've got one that's obviously going through a digestive tract, so it's going that way. Then you got another one that's been broken down in the blood, and then you're getting a watered down version of it eventually. So whether that's got something to do with it, maybe I don't know. Maybe someone wants to clear that up for us. Who knows? But
well, look, I'm going to go home today. I'm going to cook up some peanut butter on a spoon and inject that and see what happens.
Yeah, don't do that. You don't do that.
And this is the last podcast by Jimmy.
But all right, enough about me. So, that clears up the early
The early days.
Early days.
I love that their first photo when you look Google it is when you were natural and you started out. It's like an evolution if you look at these photos.
Well, probably, I don't know, bodybuilding.com probably deleted them. But I used to write an article a week for bodybuilding.com as a teenager.
I didn't know that.
Funny because I failed English.
Love your honesty.
Yeah.
I was absolutely going to say that next, and he just jumped in and said it too.
But I did. I failed English. Wrote articles, but no chat GPT back then too.
This is legit.
I think because I was into it, but
Did we have spell check back then?
they spell check for me.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding things.
You know when I was a teacher, right?
Yeah.
Everything I wrote on the whiteboard or chalkboard, I was fucking misspelling. So I just made it a game, like it was a competition. So I was doing it on purpose, so the kids had to pick it out.
And that covered your bases, right?
People don't get that Jimmy plays a lot of games.
I was going to say that covered your bases for your spelling mistakes, right?
100%. And the good thing was, right, so there was a push for inter-subject learning. So you had to teach elements of like English and like punctuation while you're teaching PE. So it actually fucking worked. It was really good. Fuck, should I say? Oh, no, I can't say that. Oh, it doesn't matter. I got fired anyway. You gives a fuck, eh? No, I better not say that. We'll talk about that online. How I used to get through writing the reports. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know the answer to that one. So,
yeah. Anyway, I'll tell you later. It is quite funny. The report started real good at the beginning, and then they ran out real bad. All right.
Let's Dan, tell us, what have you been doing, my friend? What's going on? When are we competing next? When are we getting that big chunky rig back on stage, man?
Oh man, when I nail it, honestly, a few people have asked me, and when I get a glute tie-in, then I'll be happy because I noticed all my shows that's sort of missing, and it is a diet factor, but I think more than anything you got to learn how to train it, and I never understood how to activate it until recently, like the last maybe 2 months, I've been really shown. And it's such a technical exercise, but actually like folding your body over, vacuuming your stomach to do your RDLs, to do even like a squat if you've got a safety bar, and it nails your glute tie-in. And it's one of those muscles that no one tells you about. If I could go back in time and I was a young Stan, I'd say, mate, train your glute tie-in, and this is what you need to work on. You know, because actually it takes forever and it's your weakest muscle, buddy, and you miss, So until I'm happy with that, man, I don't want to go up there to, now I don't want to go up there and compete anymore. I want to go up and just win, the pro card, the whole thing.
So, fair enough.
So, you know, we spoke about you on one of these episodes, our early episodes, because we were doing it around the time of the national, Joe. Who told you to do a front relax with locking your knees out?
A young guy at my gym, because I thought the first time I versed Mike Dawn in New South Wales, he beat me, and he had way more condition in his legs. The sartorius was really showing, and mine wasn't. And he came up to me, this young fellow, and goes, just dip your knees right in. So I gave it a go, and I saw a few more lines, and I thought, this is what's going to change the next few weeks.
I think he actually explained that to you different. Okay, now I know that story. I think he's just explaining that different. Do you remember when we did the photo shoot with Charles Lothian?
He hates my posing.
No, right. And Charles taught me that
all the time.
Charles taught me how to twist my knees out.
Yeah.
To keep my legs on.
He's messaged me this like 100 times.
Okay, so he showed it at a photo shoot, bro. I now have nailed that to the point of it's so easy to lock out your legs and keep them on without flexing them. Worry about the upper body.
He has had a chat with me 100 times, but we always make a joke out of things, and I never really understand what he's saying. I think the biggest thing, Sam Pearce came down to the gym, the legend, and showed me how to spread the floor. So you get the knees out and spread the fuck out of the floor, and that creates that detail that you need. But end of the day, I didn't have the sartorius trained either. But time being piss weak, the sartorius was piss weak too. You got to train it. You can do all you want. If you haven't trained the shit out of the certain muscles that you're missing, and you haven't had a good coach like Chris or Jimmy that have a keen eye that can see what you're missing and tell you, you need to nail this fucking muscle. You don't have it, and you need to nail it. You're not going to get ahead.
I want to know.
You know how I used to practice that exact thing, guys, that with the flexing of the legs, right? Because originally my first couple of shows, I used to just sit there and hyperextend the leg and just flex it because it looked like it showed more. But it robs you of valuable sweep by doing that position because it flattens the outside of the quad down, right? So when I learned how to do it and I was practicing how to do it, you know what I used to do? I used to just turn my foot out, not to 45, right? To about, somewhere before 45. And I'd bend the leg and I'd stand on one leg and just put all the weight on one leg. And it would just to flex the whole leg, right? And then I just sit there on one leg and just pose one-legged and just do them, right? Because then it proved to me that I could forget about flexing my legs and they would automatically be posed because of the positioning and the amount of weight that I was just pushing on them. And then I kept practicing leg to leg until I put both of them on the ground together and I was doing it. And then when you got it like that, then you start doing things like pulling your legs apart or digging your heels in and trying to push your heels forward on it. And then when you got that tight position on those things, that sartorius area and the hip flex area that you're talking about can be as simple as just pushing your glutes back a little bit and it creates more lines in the front when you're in that locked position. There's so many things that keep evolving from these things, but it's the other thing too is genetics too. You know, some people can just stand in position and just have this beautiful sweeping look and they don't have to do it. Others, it doesn't matter what they do. How many times have you seen some bloke walking down the street that's got a set of quads that the meat is just folding over the kneecap on both sides, right? Just folding over it, massive vastus medialis, really long out ahead of the quads all the way down. And then they go and sit on a stage and they're just straight up and down. There's no sweep to it. There's no nothing. So one great strength doesn't equate to the whole look all the time. And then you got someone like me who never had the biggest legs, but I could turn my foot in the right position and sit down on it. And all of a sudden they had no right to look as big as what they did, you know?
Stan, have you got my photos still back up on Google?
And you were diced, so there's a lot more detail.
Well, that was the other.
Yeah.
I used to just tell people how big I was because of the conditioning.
Do you both agree that posing, people that pose a lot
Yeah,
have more details anyway?
they do, man. That's the other thing. The more you practice, the more stuff comes out. There's no doubt.
Prepping now, we've done 3 preps. This is our 3rd. And she
Yeah.
posts 20 minutes every morning this time. And the amount of new details she's bringing to the physique show next week, or this Sunday, sorry, is ridiculous. I can't wait for you to see it.
The little preview.
Oh, brother.
Are you on those photos?
Yes.
Can you see the one underneath the young one?
The ASN one?
No, the me in black shorts.
Oh, yeah.
Click on that.
Look at your quads.
Okay, look at which way my knees are facing.
Out.
But my feet are facing forward.
That's right.
You see that? I'm not
So you got your calves like that, but your knees completely like
They're
that.
just twisted.
Yeah.
And I just hold that.
Charles has tried to explain this to me 20 times.
If you look at all my photos when I'm showing my legs, they're all like that. And and because I learned how to do that and I like the look of them and now I pose them a lot, especially in the selfies and shit, the detail's fucking stupid.
How cool is it got a photographer who's gone worldwide, worked with the best of the best, and gives us tips that are actually phenomenal. And he's a photographer, do you know what I mean? He's not a judge, he's not a competitor. A great guy.
You'll have to sleep on your couch a couple of times at Fruito.
I was actually telling someone the story about that the other night, Charles, that evening. It was not a good idea, Chris. That story. Yeah. Actually, I was telling Scott Goebel actually backstage the story.
We've had a lot of post shows with Charles. He's all because he
should be at every show.
So whenever we book a photo shoot, when Chris used to prep me, we used to do all the shows together. I would book the first available spot post show with Charles, which would be 7 a.m. Monday morning.
Yeah.
We just roll in the next morning, little sleep, and just shoot all day with him.
Yeah.
Like 5 shots that no one else in the world can get, and they're freaking nuts.
Yeah.
If you're watching this and you're a fan of bodybuilding, book him with Charles.
You got to book in.
Although he took a photo of me, which was gangster, wearing holding the trophy to Sunnies. I love it. And you know what he did? He got that upset about some of my messages backwards and forwards. He took the photo, made a massive bonfire, and burnt it.
Really?
He said, "You're dead to me."
A little bit petty sometimes.
Yeah, he holds on to things because I filtered. I don't know how the fuck he saw it. I did like 2 little filter things on one photo. He goes, "You're dead to me," and he burnt the whole. I don't even know how he saw it. He can see everything.
As well, he fucking gets very mad when you post a photo and don't tag him.
Fuck yeah. Or if you touch it up or anything like that, he'll fuck.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things like when it's an unspoken thing that you don't filter a photographer's photo. On
the Charles thing, if you do shows and you're a bodybuilder or a female that competes, and you do not get a photo shoot with Charles Lothian or Daniel Rapetti,
he's awesome.
While you're in your competitive career, you're a moron.
Agree.
Like
we've done multiple with both.
Bro, you know the funniest thing?
I got to book it, Daniel. I
booked them both back to back. And they hate each other.
Yeah.
So me and Chris did a shoot with Charles. While Charles is shooting, Daniel's setting up. Charles get paranoid because he thinks Daniel's stealing all his fucking ideas. He probably was, but
Yeah.
I put them back to back. He fucking had the shit.
Yeah. Do not show my art. Do not show my art.
Was it Charles first or was it the other way? No,
It was Charles first.
No, it was Daniel first, and Charles wouldn't set up because you didn't want to give up his lighting secrets. That's, I think, the way it went.
I might have
I love
been.
how serious they take it. I love it.
It was hilarious anyway, but like,
You're right.
what an embarrassment of riches. I mean, you got two really fucking good photographers at Riley's gym, and the only thing that kept us going that day was that fucking 12-pack of donuts you bought from across the road.
I can think of a few other things that are going, mate, but like, we'll just blame it on the donuts if you like.
Young people need to know that too. If you're doing a photo shoot, bring like 3 prep meals and
Electrolytes. Anyone that wants to know,
fucked up. That's
anyone that wants to know how to do a photo shoot, just hit me up, okay?
Yeah.
On Instagram, I'll give you the photo shoot protocol.
You need a photo shoot protocol. You're gonna get fucked up that day. That's a long.
You're gonna get fucked up.
You're gonna get catabolic.
Don't even worry about that day, that night.
Yeah.
Wait until I tell you this protocol, brother. It'll blow your mind. Yeah. If I tell it on here, I'll get arrested.
Let's not.
Yeah. Anyway.
You want to review the shows?
All right. You want to take Chris? Bro, do you remember the photo shoot that we did in Queensland where you guys watched me over the balcony when I did the sunrise photo shoot on the beach?
That was at Burleigh, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Burleigh Heads, yeah, I do. So I didn't see Jimmy slipped out at about 4 a.m, just quietly. Never told anyone. He was next minute he was gone. We knew he was on the beach with
together.
Was it who was with who did you do that one? Was it with Charles Soriano or was it?
Yes. Yeah, that one was.
It was.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure with Charles. God bless him too if he's listening.
That show, Chris and I had separate rooms. Yeah. So Chris had a room a few stories up from me, but post show we all went to Chris's room. Then at about 4 a.m. I was going to be on the beach at 5. I just went downstairs, had a shower, whatever, on the beach. They're all out on the balcony, and they watched the whole shoot. Fucking hilarious. Cheering, fucking yelling.
Man, he's had a great era of bodybuilding in Australia.
That was fun, man. That was really fun.
I hope some kids bring stuff like that back and get off their devices and shit and go hang out together and stay in room together and.
Right, I'm really. That's so good that you said that, man. Like, because Stan, this is no shit. Okay, when I won my first Aussie in 13, right? I actually just didn't. I mean, I knew how big it was, but I really didn't realize how big it was. You know what I mean? Like, it was one of those things. Like, I was super wrapped, but none of it sunken in. And then we're back at the gym at the training facility on the Gold Coast, just training, and I'm walking around. And everyone's like, "Fucking Yahoo!" This and that, and
that's awesome.
And my girlfriend at the time goes, "You need an Instagram." I said, "Insta what?" She's like, Instagram. I said, what is that? Is that like a telegram?
Gram of what? Gram of what?
Yeah. And I was like, what do you mean? Is that a telegram? What is it? She said, no, it's like Facebook with photos. I went, no, I don't. How can you tell a story with photos? She goes, don't worry, I'll set it up for you. And I went, all right, I don't know what this is still. And she was showing it to me and I didn't understand it, right? And she was just following me around taking photos, going, okay, today we want a training photo. Next, we want a professional photo tomorrow. Then the next day, we want to see you eating some food that you prepared. And I'm going, who wants to see this shit? Right? And that was it. Like, that's how it started. Like,
can I just say, but you know what I loved way more? When you started that topic then, and you said you went to the gym and everyone's coming up to you going, "Fuck yeah, Mr. Oz, well done, Chris, love your work." Man. That was the bomb, not the posts and the DMs and the likes.
No, the real people.
And now it's reversed, where you walk through the gym after you won something like that, no one gives a shit.
Well, you know what?
I've already written you something on Instagram, so they feel like they've already done that. But face to face is the bomb. You know what I mean? Like, that's energy, that's power, that's aura, that's and that sucks. Like,
yeah. To be fair, like still to this day, those that win the Australian title, and that's usually the Season B show or now C.
Right.
They do get a level of respect from, like, us.
Definitely from us.
Us.
Yeah.
Anyone who's competed goes right up to them.
Pretty much. And it's to the point of because you know how much they work for, especially the ones that like fucking for instance Schneider. Yeah.
Danny.
Fucking try. Just me second. Bang, try. Just me second. Come second at New South Wales.
Yeah.
Then went to Queensland, bang, got the win. Like that.
That was awesome.
That shit like that is
we understand it, but randoms are less and less now. Whereas you used to get a G up from randoms, which was still great.
Yeah.
That's gone because they're all just like, and they already messaged you or whatever.
See, but back then as well, man, like the other thing is that you couldn't compete out of your state. You had to compete in the state you lived in, right? That was the rule. Like there was no such thing as like, oh, I'll go and do the New South Wales show. Like
Do you
you were
think
a
that was
Queenslander,
do you think
you
that was
had to
better?
win through Queensland and then you moved on and did the nationals, right? And that's just the way that it was. And
But
the
that
thing
is
is
better.
then the other thing too is it was a very, very definitive difference between the seasons. Like whereas now, and as I said, look, everything evolves. So this isn't a criticism of state. This isn't a criticism. But October was the purest Mr. Australia. It was the Nationals, was October. The beginning of the year was the Australasian show. It was a show that was invented. We had a Brisbane show, IFBB, here in that was run by Jim McClellan back in the day, who used to own Thor's at West End. This is going back years, man. And they used to have it in the Tivoli Theatre. And that was the season A. It was just season B, and that was the Mr. Oz. Nothing else mattered, right? And that was it. So to win that October show, right, was the biggest thing ever because it was the one. But now you've got season A and you can win the national title in A and you can win the national title in B. As I said, things evolve. There's a few of them around, but there was a certain prestige that was held with this show being once a year, and you knew that it culminated in October. And it was, you'd be down in Sydney and you'd have, everyone from everywhere, and you'd have, 10, 20 people in the lineup, and you had to be conditioned with your posing. You had to do, honestly, you had to be prepared to do 4 or 5 rounds in a row of compulsories, 7 hits. There was no sort of just having a look and right, that's my top 6. I'm going to run through them once or twice and do it. People were posed and posed and posed, and some people got stronger through the posing and moved up places. Some people faded through the posing and moved down places. It was just really the art wasn't, it was multifaceted. You know what I mean? So
Can I say that was better too? This is controversy, but
yeah,
I don't like when people do other states. I can say that too because I won South Australia and I felt horrible. It's like I've taken that title from some South Australian kid and it was pretty easy and it just felt kind of shit. And then you see some guys, and I love them. A lot of couple of competitors that have done it. They're friends of mine, but they go state by state by state, and it's like, bro, you knew you're going to win all this, and you just robbed that state of.
I don't.
That was better
You
than
know
when
why
I
it's
just
you
stayed.
know why it's cool? Because especially when the pro card's on offer, yeah. You got the winners of each state, yeah. That then they're going to go up against each other, but they haven't been up against each other either.
Battle.
So you don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
Well, that's the other side, and I think that there's a little bit of gamesmanship, which is fine. There's a lot of, me, Jimmy. I'm the gamesman from all hell. I used to chat to everyone backstage and tell them I was going to beat them and all sorts of stupid stuff, right? And so I'm up for it, right? But like I think the suspense of going righto, we've got this person. I mean, do you remember back in the day, man? This is going back, okay? Like, but you think about this. Do you remember it was about 2004? I think it was '04. Do you remember that far back, Stan? But it was '04, man. We had James Potter wins the Queenslands, right? Who was just an absolute freak of nature, right? Then you had Sam Pappas, who was winning everything in Victoria. Then you had a couple of these really good guys from New South Wales, and they were like the top of the top, you know what I mean? And then you got to the Nationals, and oh my God, all of a sudden these 3 people were in the lineup, and to be in the top 5 of that lineup was just something to behold, you know what I mean? And it was the suspense was held until that point. See, now it's like they might go against each other. One might get the win at one show, and then the guy's got an opportunity to tighten things up. I mean, there's arguments to both sides, but I don't know, mate. For theatrical purposes, I'd rather wait and just watch it bang all at once at the end. You know what I mean? So, but
I agree.
Yeah,
Very much agree.
Should we discuss these shows from the Pro League, the last 2? Want to go over it?
So, well, we might as well start with Adelaide. Chris, you were at Adelaide. What I will say about the shows this year so far, they've kind of done a flip. Traditionally, Queensland, Melbourne is strong, yeah. Then the talent kind of dies off a little bit, like the quality dies up, or at least the depth of talent dries up with Perth and Adelaide. Like Adelaide,
and the volume.
Yes, but Adelaide, like with us here, even Chris, we've joked about it many times. People go to Adelaide to just grab a trophy.
Right.
Adelaide,
I've done that.
Okay. But this year, Melbourne and Queensland were like, and there's the exceptions, like Cam Withers exception, yeah.
Yeah, he's a freak. But South Australia's always got like a freak.
But
David.
like the South Australia show and the Perth show, I think bodybuilding wise specifically was stronger than Melbourne and Queensland this year.
That's
It's
nuts.
done a flip on that.
Jimmy, I said this to you before. Like the show wasn't a big show, right? If you look at like numbers wise, right? But if you measured the quality per capita, let's say, if you want to measure it that way, it was a fucking strong show, man. Like, you know, the quality was really high. It may have not been the biggest show, but it actually delivered. And for these people that would, you know, let's just say hypothetically that is the case. These people that were trying to go to Adelaide to get an easy win, they were actually in for a rude friggin' shock on the weekend because a lot of people turned up, man, and there were some good people. And man, you know, Cam was huge, and then but dude, I saw Mr. Fidel backstage because he's a great guy. I mean, you want to see that person roaming around his natural habitat? Like, it's seriously, that is a massive, massive human being, eh? And a lovely guy too.
How cool is he? Yeah, how cool is the bloke?
Yeah, he's a really, really nice person.
So
Yeah.
funny, like he'll message you and go, bro, you're so big. What do you do?
I know.
Like,
what are you talking about, bro?
What are you talking about, dude? Like, you know,
shut the fuck up. But he's not taking the piss either. He's genuinely like he's a good dude, eh?
He hasn't been destroyed by Sydney. Adelaide's kept him pure.
If he gets to Sydney,
yeah.
But everyone treats you like shit over here.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it was good. Good.
The men's overall, Newman made a comeback into WA. Is it Newman, his surname?
Newcomb. James Newcomb. Yeah.
Newcomb.
That's a great physique. But like, it was a great physique years back, you know, and
it was like everywhere 5 years ago. I saw it. I was freaking out. This guy's massive, 3D, short limbs. He's made a mad comeback.
Yeah. So it's good to see him back, man, you know. So yeah, strong show there too. So, but yeah.
Who do you think? I've been watching Josh Andrews prep through Instagram.
Right. So I watched that category. I was like pretty much front center, and I watched that category. So far away, if you want.
Penrith boy originally, can I just say?
So did he look as good?
Queensland has him now.
Did he look as good in his photos in real life as he has been in his photos?
I don't know, because he looked good in real life at the show. I haven't seen his photos prior to that, so I can't compare the two things. It was an interesting scenario. You got a guy that's basically a bodybuilder that lost enough weight to fit into the category. Was he classic? He's classic enough. I don't think it's the most classic. And that's not a criticism, because the dude's calves are that big. I reckon he's got to walk with his legs wide. Otherwise, his calves will clip each other on the way through. They're that big, like literally. They're unbelievable.
Great quads, good round arms. But
can't pull a vacuum.
See, I agree with that too. It baffles me too why they want to do this classic.
Yeah,
I know he struggled to make weight, right? Like, and he's good. Like, he won the bodybuilding last year. Did he? He would have won
in Queensland, he did.
So, like, he's up there for a pro card bodybuilding, yet decides to do the classic.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's. I think it's like what Stan said before. I think that you've got people with freaky genetics and freaky body parts, and it's one of those things that you need to work on the parts you don't like working on. And normally those parts you don't like working on are the parts that are your weakest parts, because no one likes doing something they're not good at. I don't care what anyone says. It's like, I've used this analogy 100 times. Golf is the greatest game on the planet when you're hitting it straight down the middle. When you're hitting it sideways, it sucks, right? So, people that turn and go, oh, I hate training back. Normally that person will have a pretty poor back. It's very uncommon that people dislike training a strong body part. So, Josh just needs more lower back. That's what he needs. And it's just not that strong down there. But that's hard to say. That's me being absolutely critical. I mean, the legs are amazing. The hands are amazing. It's amazing from the front, shoulders and arms. It's just that there's one little spot that's missing when he turns around. Did it mean he wasn't good enough to win that lineup because of it? No, I think it probably was a case that maybe the other guy and Tim's guy, that Dom, was very good.
Yeah,
But he was probably more classic,
he won the overall.
more classic than what Josh was.
Yeah, I'm looking at him now.
Shout out to Matthew Summerhall and Craig Hamilton. They look like local Adelaide fellas. They
Yeah,
they look pretty good, Nick, too.
yeah. Was
Did
it
Joshy come from Queensland?
Say it again, man?
Is Joshy still in Queensland?
Yeah, I think so.
But he went down to Adelaide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
kick
that
off.
would have been just to practice his speech.
Practice
He would have flattened out hard trying to get that weight off, in my opinion. And he did.
Yeah.
And that's why I was curious to see if he looked as good in pictures as he did in real life.
Mate, he looked good. You can't say he didn't look good. He looked good.
Only because I know how much they would have had to have pulled him down. So that's why I was hoping he'd be able to come back up a little bit to show off. And look, in the photo I see online here, he looks like he got filled back out quite well.
I think if he eventually got a pro card, which I hope he does, he's got great genetics, he will go well in classic, but he won't do amazing in open men's bodybuilding in America. Not Australia. In Australia, he's a bodybuilder. He's huge.
Yeah.
But in America, they're 3D and jacked, especially at his height. He's quite tall for a bodybuilder.
Well, see, this is the reason why I asked you earlier, guys, when we were talking about the weight cutoff for this classic. Remember we were talking about that earlier? Is because he had to be 98 kilos. Right? So 98 kilos off memory, and don't quote me on this. I think from talking to him in backstage, I think he was 108 the last time he competed. So, that's kind of a long way from home with that. And I sort of said to us, well, how tall are you? And he's like 183. So 183 is probably 6 foot or close enough to 6 foot, I would imagine. So, 6 foot at 98 and a struggle to make it, but 6 foot at 98 is like what you're saying, Stan, is not big enough to be open bodybuilder.
In the States. In Australia, people are freaking out. He's a bodybuilder. He's a bodybuilder. Even in the comments on the Pro League page, classic physique, you reckon? Whoa. It's sarcasm. They're like, he looks like a bodybuilder.
Yeah, but you got to put that in verb. That's Aaron too saying that.
No, it's me mate Steve.
Oh, it's Steve.
So Aaron, is this a true class?
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
is this true class? Novice classic?
But
hello, Azza.
And this is the thing. You can be whatever the fuck you want in Australia because the talent pool's not that big. Genetics aren't that good.
He looks good in the States, and in Australia, people are freaking out because they think he's a bodybuilder.
But this is the thing. There's exceptions to the rule. Yeah, but I don't care if you're struggling to make this weight now and you're this age. You're not going to go as well as you can possibly go as a classic as a pro. You're just going to be tapped out. You'll get tapped out eventually, and then what are you going to do? Yeah, and look, and this just might be a health reason too.
Could be.
So you don't know.
He suffered a few times to get to stage.
Correct.
I've seen a lot of posts where the BP went through the roof.
Purposely might try to just be a bit lighter, whatever. But
a bodybuilder like Aaron, you're a bodybuilder. You're 3D and jacked.
But
you got to be so thick.
And that's the thing. But I stopped bodybuilding because I didn't want to keep trying to get bigger. I didn't want to keep trying to get out of condition in the off-season to put on more mass and more mass. To me, it was just fucking, I was just like, man, this is too much for life. And I wasn't that good, to be fair. If I was battling it out for a pro card, or where Danny Schneider, you got the under 100 kilo title, you're at the cusp of, okay, all I need to do is win one more show and get to the overall, where you were like 10, 12 years ago, Chris.
True.
When you had 2 legs and fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I called it early because I just knew that I didn't have what it took, because I was already over 100 on stage and 120 something off season. Right? I'd have to go to 140 consistently to come back down, keep going up and down to get the sides, because my back was still shit, my arms are still shit. You know what I mean? And plus then add my whole stomach issue to the equation. I'm like, fuck, I'm not delusional. You know what I mean? I'll sit on my strength now where I've done enough. I've got a rep and I've got a lot of friends in this. And I can be about it.
Great mindset. Great thing.
If you're at the stage of, okay, I'm fucking close, it's almost worth the push.
Well, Jimmy, in regards to myself, the longevity for me, and I don't mean in the body was always suffering with the leg, my right leg and things like that. But I found something along the way that made it easier for me to continue. And that was when, and I didn't do this because I was just wanted to be lean all the time. When I started realizing that I could sit about 6 to 8 kilos in that range outside of contest weight year round and still keep coming back and being bigger and improving, it allowed me just to carry less weight in a healthier manner in the off season, which didn't make me struggle. So, I mean, instead of back in the day, me walking around at 105 kilos or 106 kilos, something like that, and then getting back down to 90 or whatever to do the 90s, I was spending the year at about 95 or 96 and then doing 90 kilos. And there's a lot of difference in that 10 kilos for me between 95 and 105. That was that period where I just, in that section there is where I just don't sleep that well. I could feel the weight. I feel tired. I'm hotter. It's just awkward. And also the food volume hurt. I just think that, people don't look at inflammation on all facets. We always look at it on food types and allergenic types of foods. But a big cause of inflammation comes from food volume. The body just does not like having large amounts of food rammed through it. That's why we should have periods where we don't do that, And I think once I started realizing that I could sort of eat between sort of anywhere between 3,200 and 4,000 calories, all the time. And, and that's not super, when you get up around 4, it's difficult. It's more difficult for me. But when I'm eating around 3,500, I can do that standing on my head. Yeah. And it made the whole thing enjoyable and easy. I mean, I could not even imagine, man, eating 5,000, 5,500. That's just.
But do you think, like, because you were in that under 90 range,
yeah,
that it was a good sweet spot? Like,
yeah,
you know, all right, if I'm going to go compete at under 100,
yeah,
over 100, you had to go and do that. But your sweet spot was that under 90 kilo. That was your fucking category for years. That was your category.
Yeah,
right? You should have won more than you did, but you didn't for whatever reason. But would your thought process or pattern be different if you were in my spot where I'm already over 100? I can't come down because I just structurally, one, I can't do it. I have to be bigger in certain areas. So I'm just going to keep getting bigger, bigger, bigger. Plus, when you're my height, going against fucking the super heavyweights, they're all tall too.
They're all tall.
So if I'm as muscly as them and they're taller, they look bigger anyway.
Well, Jimmy, for me, I just had this one mindset, and this is the way I always looked at it. Like, not always, but from about 2014, 2013, I won that first one, and then 14. Remember, I came in and did heavyweights because I didn't want to compete against one of my athletes. Remember that tosser? And anyhow, I really just did not like what I looked like at 93 kilos. It just, it was big, it was full, and it looked nice in that regard, but it wasn't that usual crispness. You know what I mean? And I just wasn't comfortable with myself, and I didn't like the look. But after about that point in time, what I started realizing is that, well, the way I looked at it was the bigger I got, the more condition I chased. And that's the reason why I remained under 90 all the time. I was never chasing to jump categories. I was going, do you know what? If I'm 2 kilos bigger this year, well, that's 2 kilos worth of extra condition that I can find and still be under 90. And that's why, if you look at my photos now, like I did it last night with someone, you had a picture of me at the Omara in 14 at 90 kilos. Then you had a picture of me in 2018 at 90 kilos when I did my last show. And the last show I did at 48 years old or 47 years old makes the Omara physique look like a little baby. And people go, well, what's the weight difference? I'm going, none, it's 90 kilos. And they go, no, but that's way bigger. The condition's way better. It's bigger because I'm allowed. It's one of those things, there's a balancing act. Everyone keeps talking about condition, get condition, get condition. And ultimately that's the thing. But if you're not big enough, there's a point in time where you have to pull up stumps and go, do you know what? I've got to forego some condition for some size here. Otherwise, I'm just going to look like a fucking skeleton with some striated glutes. And you've got to stop short. And then the bigger you get, it allows you to attack more condition. And that's one of those things about evolution. And some people are just so fixated on, one bloke is like did under 80s. And then next thing you know, he's doing under 90s. And then 2 years later, he's doing under 100s. There is no way that you've put that much size on. You're compromising your composition to do these weight jumps. That's all there is to it. Be content, let it happen naturally, or just utilize the extra size and find more condition. That's the way I've always looked at it for me. So, There's a lot of people, man. I see posts all the time going, here's me at the such and such championships in 2013 at 99 kilos. And if I was anonymous, I'd just write, well, you should have been 89 kilos. That's what I would write because you're fucking 10 kilos overweight, right? People are just so fixated on this stuff. Like if you were 89 versus that 99, the 89 would look bigger because it would look three-dimensional. That's the bottom line.
Can we cover Aid Sergejevic,
Who's that?
chest bra?
Right.
This is his brother. Because we just talked about size and condition. He did the men's physique in Adelaide and placed third.
Third in novice.
What did you think? You were there. And he's got a big following, big name.
You don't know that I train him, mate.
I didn't know that.
So I do his leg sessions.
I had no idea. Good.
Look, in real life, look, to be fair, look,
How do you pronounce it? Sergejevic?
Sergeyevich.
let's call him chest bra.
Yeah, and hey, got to give it to him. Great chest, bruh.
No,
I like that.
look, I'll give him his props. He looked really good. I think they fucked the peak. So
Right.
I seen him up until he stopped training at 4 or 3 weeks out. So I seen him at 3 weeks out.
Bit fuller,
He was way fuller.
as you would be.
I saw the photo online. I haven't spoken to him either, so if you listen to this, he'll probably get a shit, but fuck it, whatever. I saw the photo online.
I think he'd appreciate the feedback. You know, that's what you do.
Well,
Yeah.
you know.
Tough when you're prepping, stuff when you're dieting, but you got to hear it.
I say way worth to his face.
Yeah.
So no, but like as soon as I saw the photo, I just thought he's overdieted. They pushed it too far and they couldn't fill him up. And when you're naturally an ectomorph,
Hypothyroid, ecto, yep.
when you're a skinny motherfucker, right, naturally, and your body wants to be small,
That's hard work.
you can't
Cut
push
too
it,
much,
right?
yeah.
Because your condition is always going to be there. Condition will always be there if you're on the smaller side of things, right? So you've got to get to a point, and look, Chris has prepped him before too. It's known as the battle,
Oh, yeah.
right? It's you get to that point, and this is not just him. This is anyone that's like who their body just wants to be small. There's guys that miss meals, and they just drop weight. Or there's guys that miss meals and nothing fucking happens to them.
100%.
I'll go on a bender, I'll put 2 kilos on.
Yep.
All right. My body doesn't want to be small, it wants to be fat.
You're not an ectomorph.
Not an ectomorph.
You're 100% right. And then you stress these people out. I've noticed over the years of coaching, and they lose weight.
Yes.
And you stress out an endomorph, and they gain weight.
The problem is,
So his show's coming up. He's running under cortisol. He's running on low calories, high stress. He's training his ass off. He's going to lose some weight being an ectomorph. That's just how it goes when you're prepping.
And look-
It's very hard to prep an ectomorph and get it right.
in terms of with him specifically, my belief is they just pushed it too far, too long. They should have come up a bit earlier.
That's probably the lesson.
But
they're
then,
learning.
but I know what you're going to say, Chris.
No.
That his condition wasn't any more spectacular than his in the past.
Maybe why they did South Australia, because you can correct things, right?
No, I think the thing is, this is the truth, okay? Like, I mean, this is the way I saw it, is that obviously when I prepped him, we were doing a category where his legs were exposed. So we had to chase condition to get his legs in, right? And this is a very real thing. People don't understand this stuff. Now, a lot of the time, legs come in last on most people, right? Some a little bit the opposite, but it's one of those things. You want to get glutes in and hamstrings in, you got to push the envelope. Covering it up with board shorts, and this is no disrespect. It's a category, man. So no one get butthurt over what I'm fucking saying, okay? When you're covering it up with board shorts, you don't have to chase the same level of conditioning, right? Because the upper body will come in first more times than not, right? So, look, the moral to the story is, man, is that, you know, he's taller than what you think he is, right? The dude is actually, honestly, man, like I'm 5'9", the dude's taller than me. He'd be 5'11", okay, at least, okay? And he might even be a little bit taller than that. It just doesn't, it's one of those people that you call sneaky tall. He's taller than you think.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Now, when you're talking men's physique, right, unfortunately, at that height, unless you're 95 kilos, right, or in the 90s, you're not going to, unless you've got some spectacular muscle bellies, you're not going to win a show in that category at 80 kilos. You're just not, man. I mean, look at this guy. the guys we've got around the place, mate, they've had to put a weight cap on it, man. There's guys in America doing board shots that are 100 kilos.
Even our pros here, the
Right.
dark pros, they would win the fucking open bodybuilding from the waist up.
Yes.
Right.
They're
Huge.
fucking gangsters, the
Huge.
motherfuckers. Yeah.
Yeah. Agree.
And they're so fucking real.
I'm actually enjoying physique the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Because they actually look like bodybuilders. Like, and no offense, but back when I started, and back in your day,
Yeah,
that
man.
was shrimps.
No, it was like we didn't really understand it back then. It was like, well, what are we doing? It was like when bikini first came out too. Bikini first came out, and everyone's like, well, so what? You're judging someone to not be big. You're judging someone not to be conditioned.
You're judging them which one's going to win,
You know?
which one you want to fuck.
But now you've got these categories. They've all evolved, and they've all got their place. You know what I mean? And I mean, look. Forgive me for not knowing his name. I do kind of know his, but the Brazilian pro that we've got, you know, Dos Santos, isn't it, or something like this? Or
Yes.
something. Forgive me if I said it wrong.
F.
That dude's the genetics that dude's got incredible, man. Fabrizio, isn't it? Fabrizio.
You know,
Fabrizio,
when he won his pro card natural,
He came and saw me. I talked to him.
Yeah.
Coach was Scott Slamon, and then he asked me to come to the shop because he wanted to get a few supplements, and Scott referred him, and I met him, and he was dead set natural.
Yeah.
And he had basketball shoulders, absolutely jacked.
and those biceps were fucked.
Incredible, man.
So when you're coming across that sort of stuff, I mean, I think people just don't understand that category is actually bigger than what it is. And as I said, Sade's got good proportions, man. He looks good. He always looks good. He's never going to not look good. It's just I can't talk for what you said, Jimmy. I didn't see him prior. I don't know if they messed the thing up or what they did. I don't know any of that because I had nothing to compare it to.
When I saw him, I was like, dude, you look fucking. I go, dude, you look fucking good, right? And that pains me to give someone a compliment. Right, I don't give compliments just fucking willy nilly. I hate giving them because everyone gives everyone a compliment for no fucking reason.
You've never given me one.
Yeah, I deserve one.
That's right.
Right. So when you deserve one, I'll give you one. Right. But you know that when I give you a compliment, like it's fucking genuine.
Yeah.
And dude, he actually looked fucking good.
3 weeks out.
Right. And remember, I see all these little fucking cunts backstage.
Where did he flatten out?
He started flattening out 2 weeks out.
Wait, what areas?
Dude, his upper body. So 4 weeks out, his shoulders were capped, his chest was full, and he was in.
His chest still looks great on stage. It's fucking huge.
His back, I pinched like this, and I said, "You got this much, this much, right?" And he's obsessed with legs. Because it's childhood trauma,
Right.
from back in the fucking festival days when everyone used to give him shit about legs, and we've tripled the size of that motherfucker's legs, right?
Well done.
But
He's got good.
all he was concerned with, all he would say during our workouts, "Oh, my legs are coming in, my legs will come in, my legs will come in." I'm like, fuck your legs, man. Just worry about the upper. If they just if they took the gas off going into that show, and hopefully they've got another week to fuck around with it.
To fill out.
He did look good. And
It's always good to be able to, and if he's watching, it's always good to be able to have room to fill out instead of cut down, right? Probably
I'd rather
eat
eat into a show than have to go
Diet
for
my
3-4 hours of cardio.
Yeah.
Right. There you go. There's the thing. Get ready early. If you're ready early, it leaves you with options. Okay. It leaves you with options. Are you good enough to cruise in the way you are? Do you need to fill back up? Do you need to put some food in and stabilize? All these sort of options. If you're not in shape, you don't have an option. If you're not in shape, you just have to keep getting in shape. You got one option. What a luxury to be able to have a couple of choices and go, right, how do we want to look here? You know? And that's what I said with Fiona leading up to the weekend, right? I said
Wellness.
with the wellness, yeah. And I said to her, we need to chase the condition to a point. She says, "Oh, I don't want to be too conditioned." I said, no, we need to chase the condition, right? To a point. Because once you're in condition, you can soften and smooth out the condition quite easily. But if you're not in shape, you can't just find shape in a week. That's the problem. And people don't get that.
You try to find that shape, you make your top body tight and make yourself look worse.
First place, Keelan McGuinness. Second, Fiona. Congratulations. Third,
Well done, Fiona.
Cleartor.
Cheers.
Kaylin looks phenomenal. Hammy drop, even on her side pose. Huge glutes, tight waist. Yeah. Great delts, great lats.
That was a really strong lineup, man. Like if you it's a shame they haven't got a picture of the whole 5 or 6 that were there. Like they were all really, really good. Like it was probably that lineup there, probably in all fairness, if you measure the quality of it across the board, that was the lineup of the day, that right there.
All
Look
three
at the
of
top three, man. I mean, the top three is strong. Like just sitting
them.
there.
They're like proper wellness. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a good lineup, and that was a good result for Fiona too. So, but
Let's let's push forward to this weekend because
mhm,
we're all going to be there.
New South
mhm,
Wales.
South Wales show.
mhm,
It's coming down on Friday. Stan and I live in Sydney, so
mhm.
do you? I think you've got your ear to the ground a little bit more in terms of who's competing in the men.
I've got three clients. I got and who's competing in the men. Yeah, I know a little bit about who's coming, but not
So
100%.
Mike Pierce is not competing.
I don't think no, I don't think so. He looks like he is. Like
Yeah,
he's
but
stayed so shredded since that last show. Some of the check-ins with Charlie. Mate, he does things where you don't know sometimes.
Yeah, it's because he wears 4 jackets. But look, I was personally hoping he'd push through to this one, yeah,
Yeah,
because like everyone thought he was going to win last season, and
true.
like he's kind of like he's the next incumbent. He's knocking on the door. I would just fucking do the show after show till you get it. Like he's not getting any younger, to be fair, as well.
Maybe he is doing that. Yeah.
I'd like to see him, right? Do it.
Who's this?
Pearson.
Mike Pierce.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I I don't know who else is doing it. I've seen a few guys.
I think Chris Abella's out. He looked phenomenal at the last one.
No, he's not doing it.
He's not doing it.
He's
Danny's not doing it. I
again.
saw Danny the other week. He's not doing it.
Danny's still not doing it. I pushed Danny to do it. Danny's doing it in season C.
Yeah,
Train Danny every week too.
unreal.
That's how he got his Australian bracket.
Great
Australian
legs.
title.
Did you do legs with him?
No, we need chest.
He's got a good chest.
No, he's got a good chest now.
Great wheels.
But yes, I don't know. Like, I do feel the Sydney show will be a very not amazing, but a very strong show to go up to take a good team from New South Wales to Melbourne to compete.
Look, in recent times, the New South Wales show or Sydney show, whatever you want to call it, I mean, competition-wise, has always been strong. It's been strong for years, So, it would be hard to believe it's not going to be a strong show, all round. But
I'm just saying. Usually, I know a few of them. Like
Usually know some names that are coming up.
yeah.
You would know by now a couple of big rigs rocking up.
But to be fair, I've also not been on stupid social media over the last 3 months as much as I usually would too, because I've been busy as fuck. So it might have fallen through the gaps, and I might have missed it too.
I think Mars is doing it. Danny posts him.
Mars comes and trains with Danny each week,
And you, yeah,
and with me. So so Mars is doing it.
he looks good.
Mars is cracker. Like
He's gotten better.
he's gotten bigger and bigger.
He's on a 90 on 100.
He will be under 100, I believe. Like if they sucked him down again to under 90, he would lose. He'd have to sacrifice earned muscle.
My boy Cooper's doing it. The young gun.
He did number last week.
He did.
That
He's 20.
I really like.
For 3 weeks.
I really like Cooper. You know why? I love the 20-year-old arrogance.
Yeah.
Like it just reminds me so much of myself when I was that age. I did not give a fuck. Like that guy's respectful, but he comes across as like the biggest arrogant cunt, which I fucking love, mind you, right?
On stage, but he's the nicest kid in the world.
Even on his posts, his backwoods hat and his fucking cheesy American smile.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
He's got mad swagger.
It gives, but it comes across as this real arrogance. But when you meet him,
The old backwoods cafe.
he's like super respectful. But I'm telling you know how arrogant I was when I was 20?
Just fucking with you.
I had a sticker on my car that said Fig Jam.
I was a fucking arrogant prick at
Fuck,
22.
I'm good, just ask me. That was on my
Fig Jam.
windscreen. That's how arrogant I was. No cunt like me back then.
Fucking, I'm good.
Just ask me. Fig Jam, seriously.
It happens, It's puberty, it's zest, it's...
I remember back then too, but
you look great, your hair's great.
Not many people bodybuilt back then too. So I was kind of like I was top of my own little niche of that age.
Yeah.
So it was like...
But he's in that niche. He's from Cronulla. There's a lot of guys coming out bodybuilding. Oh, except for that gym that kicks off down there. It's going great. Oh, shit. What's the name of that gym?
Riley just started down there. But they got goals down there with Matthew.
No, one with all the flags inside it. I forgot that.
Oh, that fucking place.
Yeah. The Greek guy owns it, the chicken shop. It's
Metroflex.
awesome. Metroflex. That's got a couple of great competitors coming out of it.
Jay
How
Hart.
this show?
Jay, what's that motherfucker's name? He liked my photo the other day.
Should we look him up?
He won the under-90s, Chris, last season.
I'm going to search Metroflex. They got a couple of good.
Oh yeah, the guy with the glutes.
Yeah, the one that looks like
He's from
Ivan.
Metroflex. Yes.
The one that looks like Ivan back in the day.
Yes, he did under 90s as a freak.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah,
He's stacked on the stack of size too. He got big this off season.
he loves it.
But you know that wall that Lee Priest has got like
Oh, this bloke's coming. This Jerome Simpson. He looks great.
Who-
He's tall. He's done that a few times, and he
Right.
just never nailed condition. And he's conditioned this time. He looks phenomenal. Have a go at that. Super heavies. He's got a good shape.
He looks really good.
He actually
What's
done
he
it.
weigh?
I don't know. I'd say
He
he's
super
looking like
heavies?
110,
What, he's
115.
6 foot something,
He's 6 foot, I reckon.
and he's got good like he's got a mad line.
Super nice, super quiet guy. Always
Who-
cracked on a nabba. Didn't ever place too well, and now he's looking tops.
Who's prepping him?
Jay Haas is who you
That's the
mentioned.
one,
eh?
yep.
Yeah, that's the guy that was the crazy glutes, and John Haasudis.
That's
I think that's Greek too, isn't it, Chris?
Yep.
Absolutely. There's no denying what that name is.
What's with you Greek genetics, you freaks?
So what? Metroflex have got Coops
Who
and those two.
those John isn't doing it, but the other fella is, and they got another guy who's
Who's this guy with
he's,
the
an
same thing?
he's an ectomorph that's super heavy. It's so rare, and he looks good. I'll find who he is. He's on their page. I've seen this guy. He's grainy as, but he's big and tall. It's so rare.
Oh, we've got Dylan is
Dylan Harrigan.
yeah.
Looks good.
He's a younger he's a younger fella.
He looks proper.
He looks so much better than last show.
Big arms.
He's a very tall fella too. Well,
Yeah,
I suppose everyone tall compared to me.
That team's bringing a few good guys, but they're just sort of names you haven't heard of. Maybe that's why we haven't heard of. Like I know what you're saying, but there's not that. Usually, there's every show. There's like a following of someone.
Who's Josh K.
Josh Kane.
Yeah, he's on the Metroflex page too. He looks like he's doing something. He looks smaller. Fuck you, I can call him small and give a shit.
I don't
He
see.
looks good though. Hey, what's that thing they put in their mouth with their photos?
What's that?
They got something like Hakeem over the States does it too. They've got something in their mouth.
I thought you were talking about OnlyFans or something.
No. It's black, but
Okay, I think he's Vasilios Gletos.
No.
Have a look at him. And that's another Greek.
Absolutely.
This place is pumping out the Greeks.
Wow.
Look him up. Vasilios Gletos. Have a go. This
I
guy.
don't need to. I just go to my search engine and you already looked at
Oh,
my
I already did. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's white too.
You know what I'm saying? He's an open men's, but he's an ectomorph by the look of
Hey,
it.
do you know what I really like to? That everyone is now going to Charlie Duke pose.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, and you know what? He's good. He was a good poser, and he's a lovely man too. Like straight up, love talking to Charlie.
He has exploded in posing, coaching in the last 12 months.
Yeah,
He's just so humble and he's good at it. He
Yes.
makes you do your own rounds a couple of times and he corrects the shit out of it, puts the photos next to it, and you're like, wow, Charlie, thanks.
Yeah.
And those
Do
little
you
bit-
remember? Were you at the Grand Prix, the Pro Grand Prix Gold Coast, Jimmy? It would have been. Oh man, maybe. Here we go. I'm probably wrong. It might be about an 05, something like that, maybe. And Charlie Duke did the show. It was the last show he did. Were you there for that?
I did see that, yes. I went to that Gold Coast show.
I got a feeling Ronnie Rocker won the show. Pretty
Yeah.
sure he did, right? Ronnie Rocker won the
Please come
show.
second.
Yeah.
Second.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. Charlie Duke was in that show. And I remember looking at him on the footpath and I was like, fucking hell, man. Like, look at this dude's the thickness of his arms and, just walking around. It was like unbelievable,
Yeah, he was good back in the day.
It's good to see these people compete and actually see them compete at the end of their careers and see them then and know them now. And it's good to sort of have both in those memories. It's cool. Yeah.
And Charlie's good because he's always backstage too.
Yeah.
He's always backstage and fucking funny.
Yeah, I think so. You're very good today. You look good.
Doesn't even sound that clear. I can understand that shit.
You sometimes
You need a translator.
pick up what he's saying,
Yes.
but he's very relaxed.
Get him to write it down.
You could be fantastic.
Everyone looks good by twin.
They do.
Good. Then he'll go, it's my client. Mine.
That's bad.
So unfortunately, we can't make predictions for New South Wales. We don't know who the fuck is competing.
Sometimes the judges like you, sometimes they don't like you.
Oh dear, oh dear.
I
Yeah.
will predict
I love
that
Charlie.
the show will start late.
Yeah, 10:30.
Nah, that's only because it's a hard venue to get the crowd in.
Oh,
That's the only reason why. Other than that, the show's a lock. The show's one of the best in the country.
true,
By the best in the country.
true. It's a massive New South Wales. Someone was saying the other day that's almost harder than the Nationals. Like sometimes, because not everyone turns up to the Nationals, right? Unless you're like top three.
There are good rivalries like that have come from New South Wales.
It's intense. I'd say New South Wales and Queensland. Wouldn't that be the hardest ones?
Usually it is. New South Wales is usually the overall the best show. If you average out the females to the males, to the male bikini and the female, like they're usually the best. You got that one, eh, Chris? That's the smoke.
Oh yeah. He snuck it in. I'd pick it up.
I'll say it's on Sunday too.
Yeah. What you do, you actually howl it backstage.
Men's bikini.
I hope everyone peaks well and preps well. I hope they're all healthy.
Yeah, exactly right. And just fucking enjoy yourself, man. Seriously. Don't take yourself too seriously either. Have a laugh at yourself.
That's easy to say when you're not prepping.
Well, you know what? You know how I used to lighten up myself before I went out? I used to just sit there and imitate myself walking.
Or you used to imitate the other.
I used to imitate myself walking because I walk like a monkey. So I just used to do that, and people thought it was funny, and it was my way of just lightening myself up. And then I'd go backstage and just sit there and go, "Why are you eating those chips for? You haven't dieted enough. Why are you eating those lollies for? You should have dieted." And then that's when it starts.
That shit backstage, I don't get. And that's been happening for fucking 25 years since I did my first show at 15. People eating chocolates, chips, and lollies backstage. I'm like, what the
Farting their ass off.
But
I know, it's just ridiculous, man.
it's the worst from the worst.
Why would you even do it? I don't even understand it. The benefit of eating that shit right then and there does nothing, man. Like if you're not in shape, you haven't eaten the right food up until that time, and then you got these bikini girls just eating snakes.
Inflammation.
You're eating snakes to make you pop. Can I just remind you don't have enough muscle to pop, right? So just don't eat the snakes.
Bro, bikini girls backstage pumping up fucking. It doesn't even infuriate me. It just I'm just like, what? Why?
Can you digest it in time before the stage?
Like, man, that's the point. That's the point of the whole thing. Like
the guts, it takes a while to digest. Sort of
look outside a fucking line of rail, ain't digested nothing.
If I got a client that's flat, a little bit more water would go a long way.
Look,
most of the muscles are water. You won't bloat on water.
Oh, if I've got a client that's holding water, I'll probably just give them a line.
Yeah.
Joking.
I think honestly, man, that's the reason why back in there, I'm not saying I overdid this either because I couldn't be bothered, right? But alcohol works quick. You know what I mean? That's the reason why these people do it. But it becomes a thing, doesn't it? It becomes like a done thing. Yeah. I can't wait to get backstage and have that glass of wine before I get on stage. You don't need the fucking glass of wine. It became a thing to do. Why would you prep for fucking 20 weeks and have a glass of wine before you got on stage? Just fucking do the stage and go and do it afterwards. It's
I think
that's silly shit, man.
Anxiety.
Yeah, but that's used.
Sorry?
Anxiety.
That's getting used now.
Well, for those sorts of reasons, I absolutely understand that and accept that on board. 100%.
The alcohol and you shut up. Your GABA stops you from overthinking. They're looking for GABA.
Yeah, agreed.
If I got an anxious client, I think it's all right. I like, a bit of red wine.
You're not going to give them a glass.
Vodka. Not a whole glass.
Chop the fucking strawberry.
Not a whole glass.
Have a seat. Have a twig.
Yeah. Charlie Duca got me onto that.
That doesn't make sense.
I think if you got a client that's a bit, cortisol will mess you up just as much.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
Is like, don't make it an event.
True.
Have the couple glasses.
You're not there to have drinks.
Have the couple glasses before you come to the
you're not at the bar.
Or you're in your hotel. Like, just have it, then come down.
Maybe the night before to chill out, have a good sleep, like half a glass. You're right. You don't have to go punching a bottle or something like that.
Or you don't need to make it a spectacle backstage. I'm having a drink. Like, fuck, who cares?
Do you remember back in the day? I only did one show with the Grahams when I first started with the Pro League. It was my under 80s show. And do you remember how shit the back room was? Like how aggressive people were?
Oh, yeah.
People don't know that now, I don't think. Like a lot of they're so lucky now. I love it. Everyone's high fives, a few photos with people, makes you feel great. But then
better vibe, yeah.
Man, I thought I was gonna get murdered. Possibly. There were some heavies and I was full on.
Yeah.
Not a bad one.
Yeah, but that was that came to a head when, because of that, just the whole vibe of the show was just
animosity. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just everyone was so combative. There was no like, and like we still had our we were all friendly. Like some of those shows with Aaron versus Sam and Gretchen
awesome.
and all them competing, Chris. Backstage, like we had a big crew of guys, but
these were the good guys, like and professional and good, not trying to eyeball people or whatever.
No, we just took the fucking piss. We just like, but I think that comes with lack of, I'd say lack of ego, because none of us really had an ego except for Pilates, but he was still in check and he kind of deserved it because he was the best at the time.
Yeah.
So it's everybody else that had that aggressive nature or acted that way, they were a little like, I'm not going to say outside the circle, but they were kind of like on the try hard level. Like they weren't that good. So
I was kind of there. Like when I was younger, looking up at you guys, I was on the outside of the circle and trying my best to like talk to you a little bit, and freaking out because you're all jacked and going, "Oh, these guys like me or not?" I remember Chris, you was solid as it when I first met you. I was like, I think the first 2 times I met you, you said like hi to me. That's it. And I was like, this guy's serious.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's good. Just put your guard up. You realize who's a wanker or not. You finally let him in eventually.
Yeah.
A lot of guys think that's arrogance or whatever, but you know, you got to group.
Back then, unless Chris knew you, he wouldn't give you a conversation, and that wasn't for pure arrogance or anything. That's the personality. That's how he was.
And he was coaching 5, 6 people on that bloody day. You think about them.
You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know, the problem is perception. Everyone's perception is correct. So
some young guys are still shit scared of you. I talk to them all the time. They're like, "You trained with Jimmy? Oh my god, Jimmy's awesome, man!" Like,
see, I used to get that a lot less now. But I'm like, why? I'm the biggest fucking pussy ever.
Hey, my boys, I've got to go. I'm so sorry to cut you. If that's what I've got a client right now, and she's going to knock on the door any minute.
We covered
and my dogs are going to go berserk.
Covered so much.
That was good. That was fucking fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we should have Sam on more often, because I think it's Stan offers a really good blend, man, like of a really quality bodybuilder, high quality bodybuilder, but also one that's caught in between almost 2 eras, if you will. So he's seen enough of the era prior and he's present as well. So some of the things that Stan has brought up today, actually, it made me really reflect on a couple of things that he said, about remembering what things were like and what they are now and that. So I really appreciated the contrast, bro.
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate you, man.
Well, Sam's he's fucked me up. Stan's 3 days.
But he's calling Sam now. It's all right. It's now Sam.
Stan's 3 days too, so it works out.
Let's just call him Stanislav. It's a much more potent name. All right. I've been dying the whole episode to do it.
All I can do,
well pronounced.
I refer to you as Body Beyond.
Yeah.
Because I can't type in Stan on Instagram.
I kind of forced that. For the company, I did that. Yeah.
So it's we're all right. But yeah, Stan's 3 day is Wednesdays, and we record Wednesdays. So he's welcome to pop through whenever.
All right.
Put $200-300 through downstairs. We're happy.
Done. Anything to hang out with you guys. We need more of this in Australia. Like people getting together, talking about what we love.
And that's what me and Jimmy talk about. We say exactly that. It's our excuse to talk to each other each week.
Yeah, schedule done because everyone's
all right. I want to go smash the weights now. Thank you, brother.
All right, Chris, go see your client.
Love you.
See you, pal.
Mate.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everything. Thank you. Bye-bye.
This has been This is Fitness. With over 60 combined years in the fitness world, Jimmy and Chris have walked the walk and are here to share what really works. Their passion is to explore new trends, dispel myths, and call out the stupidity within the industry. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find Chris on social media at Chris Thomas Alpha Ethos and his website at alpha-ethos.com. Find Jimmy on social media at jimmysadak.designercoaching and his website at www.jimmysadak.com. See you next time on This is Fitness.